Can I respond quickly?
Sure.
So you're saying that they all knew that serious consequences meant that the U.S. would invade Iraq without a vote that Iraq hadn't been keeping up with?
Absolutely. There wasn't any doubt about it. Do you disagree with that?
I would think that they would have.
Did you watch the debates?
Yes, I did.
And what did they say?
I'm sorry. Well, I don't know the exact.
Yeah, they knew exactly what it meant. They knew exactly what it meant.
Helen Morris, I'm an adjunct here in philosophy and political science and political science department as well. One of the rationales for invading Iraq were Al-Qaeda connections. The 9/11 Commission has since stated that there were tenuous at best Al-Qaeda connections in Iraq prior to the invasion, and that there was absolutely no connection to 9/11, which was also purported as a rationale. However, now post-invasion, it's a hotbed of Al-Qaeda terrorist activity. Haven't we kind of gone from bad to worse? When we had everything confined in Afghanistan, it seems it would have been better to focus on Afghanistan rather than move into Iraq, create disarray, and have terrorist activity there. Haven't we kind of gone backwards in the war on terror because of the Iraqi invasion?
And explain to me how terrorism was confined to Afghanistan.
I didn't say it was confined to, but we were dealing with the terrorism in Afghanistan. And it seems to me that now the heads of Al-Qaeda have moved into Iraq. Now, I know George Bush said we've captured 75% of Al-Qaeda heads, but it's not like they don't replenish the supply. And now it appears that they're focusing in Iraq and they're getting many converts and more people involved from Iraq. It seems to me that the war on terror has gone backwards because of the invasion, and I'd like to be explained how it has.
I think that as a theory is a little bit like saying, you know, when Hitler marched into the Rhineland, it wasn't all that violent. And when he declared the Anschluss with Austria, that wasn't so bad. And when he took the Sudetenland, there wasn't a high level of conflict there. It was only after the Allies used military force against Germany that the war really got serious. I mean, part of what's happened here is that by virtue of the September 11 attacks, we understood for the first time the nature of the threat that terrorists posed to the United States. I don't think the average citizen or our intelligence agencies really understood how serious the problem is. And it's one reason why we have said from the outset this is going to be a long struggle. And it is certainly the case that terrorists have been attracted into Iraq, and we are fighting them there. And I tell you, I would much rather fight them in the streets of Fallujah than in the United States.
Wait a minute.
That
is that is upside down. That is completely and totally upside down. You say...
Do you consider yourself a liberal? Are you a tolerant man?
I'm tired and sick and tired of all this... No, wait a minute. I'm sick and tired of all this fool labeling.
This is liberalism at its best. This is liberalism that purports to be tolerant and willing to listen to other points of view.
This is not liberalism.
When you're invited to speak, sir, I'm sure you can come up here and speak. Right now, I'm speaking, so give me the courtesy of answering the questions. I will call on you in a minute. I would rather fight terrorists on their ground. It is not an easy struggle. It's a very difficult struggle. And the idea that it could be won easily or quickly was never realistic. But the struggle that's going on to change the nature of the government in Iraq is a profoundly significant element, a consequence of what we've done. If governments that are based on consent of the people have a chance to flourish in the Middle East, then I think you're going to see a substantial different region over a period of time. And that is a significant outcome. Now, sir, go ahead.
My name is Stephen Patrick. I live in this town. I also am, I suppose, what you would call inimical to some of your point of view. I'm that despised entity of public service worker. I work in government. I have worked in government for the better part of my life. Now, I've heard you respond saying about how it's better to fight the terrorists in Fallujah than in the streets of San Francisco. I heard that 20-some years ago when I was much younger and the war in question was Vietnam. the individual who spoke was saying about how they were in Afghanistan. Well, they weren't just in Afghanistan. And in Iraq, first off, Saddam Hussein was a creature partly of our own creation. Is that not true? In the 1980s.
No, it's not true.
Oh, in the 1980s, we supplied him with assistance. President Reagan ordered the Central Intelligence Agency to demonstrate how he could try to preserve his own security during the Iran-Iraq War. We provided him on the basis of the enemy of my enemy is my friend, because of course, Iran was in the, under the rule of Khomeini, and there was a war going on, and of course Saddam grabbed his opportunity, like he usually did. But we had him controlled. Oh, it wasn't perfect, but from the point of view of the average Iraqi, who has never known anything in an artificially created state, remember, courtesy of the First World War, an artificially created state has never known anything but the strong of oppression is adopted. And most people in this world, they get up and they ask three questions. Do I have enough to eat? Do I have a place to stay and clothes on my back? Is anyone going to beat the hell out of me today? If the answer to the first two questions is yes, and the answer to the third question is no, it's a good day. Right now, in Iraq, despite our double phraseology, which has gone back and forth and forth and back and back and forth and forth and back, our control extends no further than the weapons, than the range of our weapons. The most important person in Iraq is not the interim acting president, Allah. It's the Grand Ayatollah Sistani. Consider, in the last dust up, that last fighting that was going on in Fallujah, going on for weeks, the Sunnis out of the country, he comes back, he says, everyone should come to the streets so we can sell this mount of the Grand Mosque. Place is filled with people, not a shot's fired. That's real power. That's real power. What we have is at best a shaky illusion of a truce. And now we are stuck in that place. We are going to be there for a long period of time. And as long as the Iraqis want, well, that depends on which Iraqis. And it's going to be very shaky because some people will tell you Saddam Hussein might have been an SOB, but they'll also tell you he was our SOB. He wasn't an SOB coming in from the outside. And that's the other part of our problem. People that we're supporting, they're tainted by their association with us. Now, sir, that is not an example of...
Are you going to finish anytime soon, or is there a question coming here?
My question to you is, if Saddam Hussein's regime was so dangerous, how is the regime of the mullahs in Iran, who incidentally also engineered the bombing of the Beirut barracks and the kidnapping of our hostages, and of course the regime of the North Koreans, which started a war in 1950 that cost the lives of 33,000 Americans, how are they any less dangerous? How is the threat any less imminent from them?
You know, you obviously haven't listened, or maybe you didn't want to listen tonight. I made the point, I'm not going to repeat the argument. We didn't argue that imminent threat was the reason for the war in Iraq. So the question at the end of your comments that follows, it isn't based on the argument that we made about Iraq. I personally think that in the case of the future of Iraq, that the issue now, for the first time since independence, is in the hands of the Iraqi people, and they have a chance, which they may blow, but they have a chance to create institutions of representative government. I think that's a good thing for them, and I think that it will be one of the consequences of the war that we gave them that chance.